While many singers play the piano or guitar, recording artist Becca Bradley grew up performing classical music. She went from playing the cello to leading hundreds and countless of people into the presence of God. Welcome to the Harvest Show, Becca.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Okay, that beautiful, amazing voice that you have, and I'm trying to picture you with the cello. I mean, how did you all get started? Was it one of those things where your parents said, you are going to play this instrument, young lady, no matter what you say?
Sometimes it was like that, but no, I actually decided to start on my own. I was 8 years old when I started playing the cello. It was bigger than I was. But
I know.
My older sister, I have a sister that's 2 years older than me, and she started playing. They had like an orchestra program in our school system, and they showed the kids all the instruments and let them pick, and she picked the cello. And so she kind of introduced it to our family, and then I kind of watched her doing that and had been taking piano lessons and stuff already and was already into music, but saw her playing cello, and I thought, well, that looks really cool. I want to do that too. So that's kind of how I got into it. There were times where my parents made me do it, and I was like, I just want to be a normal kid and play with my friends, but.
So how do you go from, you obviously have a beautiful voice. How do you go from playing that instrument to singing, or was it always a part of, what you were doing?
I mean, I think to an extent, it was always a part of what I was doing. I grew up watching kids' songs videos on VHS every single day, and I knew every word to every song. So, I mean, it was always something I did as a hobby, but cello was what I always focused on and was very much, pushed towards in a good way, and it got me a lot of opportunities. The Lord's kind of used the fact that I play the cello to get me where I am in a very roundabout way. It's not the normal way to kind of get through the doors that I've gotten through. So it's been really cool.
Tell us about that journey a bit. Did you grow up in a Christian home? Was there kind of a marked transition to faith in Christ in your life?
Yeah, there was. I did not grow up in a Christian home. We went to church occasionally on a holiday, but no, didn't grow up really having ever even heard the gospel.
Really?
And grew up primarily in places that just were not really predominantly Christian places. I've lived in 6 states. I've lived all over the place. But when I was 14, my family moved to Arkansas, which is like my first taste of the Bible Belt and really just being around a culture of Christianity, and, began to see faith in my friends that I really envied and I really wanted. But it was one of those things. I felt so awkward asking my friends questions about God and about their faith, because, if you grow up not really thinking of God as real, to talk about him as if he was like talking about Santa as if he was real. Like, it felt childish and it felt awkward. And so I really didn't have those conversations in high school. And then ironically, I went to college. I went to a Christian university in Nashville, and so many kids, they'll go off to college and, it's sort of a fresh start and you can be whoever you want to be. And some people take that to the opposite extreme and they will go crazy with drinking and partying. And I was like, nobody knows me here. I can be whoever I want. I'm going to go to church. And so I did. I started visiting churches because I had that hunger, and that was sort of a way for me to sit there and take it in without having to have those uncomfortable conversations that I dreaded. And so, throughout my first year of college, just kind of visited around and heard the gospel and liked it and kind of wrestled with the Lord, just about, Jesus, this is going to mean a lot of change and this is going to mean a lot of surrender that I wasn't sure I was ready for. But yeah, the beginning of my sophomore year of college, I was 19, just kind of had that moment of, like, I like the gospel, but the phrase give your life to Jesus just hit me really hard. And I was like, I have not given him anything. And just kind of had that moment of surrender in my dorm room when I was 19.
Wow, what an amazing story. So then you go from surrender to, how does he get you on stage to lead worship and to make all of the projects, to release how many projects now? Is this the 6th one?
Oh, no, not the 6th. This is the 2nd.
Oh, the 2nd.
The 2nd. 6th, that would be amazing.
Oh, okay. I misread that.
Interview.
Okay. So tell us about The Lion's Eye, your new project.
The Lion's Eyes is the project. I just released it on August 7th, and this is my 2nd EP, so it's a 6-song record.
Okay, that's where the 6 comes in.
Oh, that's the 6.
Okay.
But yeah, The Lion's Eyes, I'm just super excited about this project. I'm still proud of the first project I put out, but I think this one is just you know, musically and even just as far as songwriting, it's just a big step up for me. You know, I think each of these songs was just kind of took on a life of its own, you know, in the songwriting process and when we got in the studio. And I think the project came together very easily and gracefully, which was encouraging to me just to see the Lord's hand over it through the whole process.
I'm going to go through a list here. You've been on stage and you've performed with Taylor Swift, Kelly Clarkson, Lady Antebellum, Keith Urban, Rascal Flatts, Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, yada, 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 on and on. What were those experiences like, and what were maybe some of your most memorable moments in those kind of environments?
Yeah, you know, it's been awesome. I was thankful. I kind of got into some interesting circles as soon as I got into Nashville. It's not the norm. I played the Dove Awards for the first time when I was 18. I didn't even know what a Dove Award was, and I played cello in the Dove Awards. And the lady who books for all these other award shows when they come into town, CMA Awards and everything. And so kind of just fell into that circle and do that every year.
So when the cello is needed.
When cello is needed, I'll be
give
there.
Becca a call.
Yes, and so, yeah, that's how I kind of got into those circles. But no, it's a really cool experience, you know, and it's definitely different from the stuff I'm doing now, but I very much enjoy it, man. Cool experiences. I'm trying to think. I do have one funny story. We were doing, for the CMA Awards a few years back, Taylor Swift was doing her song Back to December, and they wanted to make it snow on the stage. They thought it would be really cool, and which is a great idea. But we got to the dress rehearsal, we had this whole string section sitting there with, you know, these ridiculously expensive instruments. I see some of these people play like $500,000 instruments, and they start bringing this fake snow on the stage, which is like soap suds. It's terrible for your instruments.
Oh my.
So in the middle of the dress rehearsal, the entire string section starts getting this fake snow on our instruments, and we all just like run off the stage. And Taylor like has her in-ears in, and she's completely oblivious. And then she turns around, and like the entire string section is
gone.
Just gone. So we had to like rework the stage setup a little bit for that one.
Becca, as people listen to your new project, what are you wanting them to hear? What's the takeaway for you?
Man, you know, I want them to hear the gospel more than anything. Like, that's so basic and so simple, but like, my prayer is just that it brings people closer to Jesus. I think I write so much from the contrast I've seen in my own life of before and after Jesus. That's kind of the cool thing about coming to the Lord later in life is I can so clearly see, oh, I am night and day different than I was 5 years ago. And yeah, I very much write from the place of that contrast. You know, one of the songs we're going to do today, I Hope Is Found, literally spells out the gospel in a prayer of salvation. And it's so simple, but like people could literally just listen to that song and give their lives to Jesus. So that's my prayer. Whether they know the Lord already, I pray that they come to a deeper place, or if they don't, people could get saved just from hearing a song.
Wow, that's so interesting, and we're looking forward to the next song. To connect with Becca, go to BeccaBradleyMusic.com or go to Harvest-TV.com for a link to her new project, The Lion's Eye. Still to come, Brian Bush with the latest from Israel, but up next, Pastor Mark Lance with part 2 of his teaching series, Seeing Past the Rubble. We'll be right back.